Hello and welcome to Dining with Death. This episode is on our playlist, Dining with the Departed, where we talk about famous and infamous people who have passed on. We discuss their lives, we discuss what they're famous or infamous for, and we eat their favorite food. I'm Stacey Lee. Let's begin. This episode includes discussions of people who choose to end their own lives. So if that's a sensitive subject for you, I would suggest not watching this video. Robin McLaren Williams was born on July 21st, 1951 in Chicago, Illinois. He excelled in school where people remember him as quiet but very, very funny. He was a wrestler and he was elected class president at his high school in Michigan. In 1973, he won a full scholarship to the Juilliard School in New York. His classmates were Christopher Reeve, William Hurt, and Mandy Patinkin. Williams even worked as a mime in Central Park while he was in school. He wowed his dialect and speech teacher, one of the world's leading voice teachers, with his ability to instantly perform any accent he heard. He left Juilliard during his junior year when John Houseman said there was nothing more Juilliard could teach him. Gerald Friedman, another one of Williams' teachers, said Williams was a genius and that the school's conservative and classical style of training did not suit him. I don't think it comes as a surprise to anyone that a conservative school with a classical style of teaching is not really the place for someone like Robin Williams, and kudos to his teachers, especially back then, for recognizing that, right? Robin moved to the San Francisco Bay Area in 1976 and began performing stand-up comedy. Williams claims that he was first introduced to drugs a little more heavily in San Francisco, and he did struggle with drug addiction throughout his life. But he also says that he was, quote, sad to see the best brains of my time turned to mud by drugs. He then moved to Los Angeles where he continued to perform stand-up. In 1977, a TV producer named George Schlatter saw his act and invited him to appear on a revival of his show, Laugh-In. Laugh-In was before even my time. I know, it's shocking. But if you don't know what Laugh-In was, it was kind of a skit show, kind of bawdy, a little bit raunchy, a little bit naughty at the time, and a lot of really famous people got their start there. The revival attempt of the classic 60s hit show Laugh-In failed, but it got Robin Williams noticed. After Laugh-In, Gary Marshall cast Robin Williams in the role that would change his life. Robin was chosen to play an alien on the show Happy Days, and his character, Mork, was so popular that they gave him his own show. Soon, American audiences would all know Robin Williams as Mork from Ork on the Mork and Mindy show, where he played an alien from a distant planet. Oh, I am so old. My mom and dad didn't let me watch a lot of TV, but Mork and Mindy was one of the few shows that we were allowed to watch, and I think a lot of that's because Mork's character was really goofy, very juvenile. I'm sure that sitcom hasn't aged well. Even as a kid, I remember thinking like, wow, this guy's really a dork. But it was a fun show and it was really, really popular. In the 1980s, Robin Williams' popularity grew. He got his own HBO comedy specials and even co-hosted the 58th Annual Academy Awards. He was a very popular late-night talk show guest on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson and Late Night with David Letterman. He made over 100 appearances, and his antics were always something to behold. He was always super over the top, but very quick-witted, and he could impersonate almost anyone. He married his first wife, Valerie Velarde, in June of 1978, and they have a son together, born in 1983. They divorced in 1988. Robin Williams became a movie star in 1980 when he played the title character in Popeye, along with Shelley Duvall as Olive Oyl. I distinctly remember seeing this movie in the little Main Street theater in my hometown. And of course, we were allowed to see it because it had Mork in it. And also, it was kind of marketed to families. But this is really what kind of blew up Robin Williams' career. He then played the lead in The World According to Garp in 1982 and got a lot of smaller roles in other 80s films. The world kind of woke up to his incredible talent and really started to take him seriously in 1987 when he landed the starring role in Good Morning Vietnam, where he plays a loud, kind of raunchy Army-O radio DJ during the war. He famously improvised most of the lines in the film. Again in 1989, he won critical acclaim for his portrayal of a private school English teacher in Dead Poets Society, a film that I think we can all agree became a film classic almost instantly. He wowed audiences again in Good Will Hunting, for which he won an Oscar, and in Awakenings, which is one of my favorite films of his. In 1991, he played an adult Peter Pan in Hook, and then starred in The Fisher King and The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. He continued starring in great films like Moscow on the Hudson, Insomnia, and 1 Hour Photo, which, if you haven't seen that, see it. I remember 1 Hour Photo being the first time we saw him as kind of a bad guy. I could be wrong on that, so let me know if I am. But I haven't seen it in a lot of years, and sometimes films don't age well, but I'm a horror movie fanatic, and I just remember being a little bit creeped out by that show and that performance, so I'm gonna need to watch that again. The last film Robin Williams starred in is called The Angriest Man in Brooklyn, which unfortunately was not well received. He married a second time on April 30th, 1989. This marriage was a little bit scandalous, as his second wife, Marcia Garces, had been his son's nanny during his previous marriage. Ooh, you really gotta watch out for those nannies. But you can't just blame the nanny. It takes two to tango. Robin Williams was a phenomenal voice actor. Before he started voicing animated characters, celebrities really hadn't done much of that. He was kind of a pioneer. Now, all kinds of celebrities do voice work, but that wasn't the case before Williams came along. Of course, he famously voiced Genie in Disney's Aladdin in 1992. He kind of had to be talked into the role because he had some issues with the way Disney made so much money on merchandise from their films. But he's quoted as saying, "I'm doing it basically because I want to be part of this animation tradition. I want something for my children." The film became the highest grossing movie of 1992, and many credit Williams for that accomplishment. He voiced characters in Fern Gully, Robots, Happy Feet, and AI. Of course, we can't talk about Robin Williams without talking about Mrs. Doubtfire, the beloved 1993 film. 1993. Some of you were probably not a twinkle in your parents' eye at that point, but I would really recommend seeing it if you haven't. It's great. Williams plays a father going through a divorce who is so desperate to be with his children that he dresses as an elderly British woman and pretends to be their nanny. It's another film starring Robin Williams, like I talked about earlier, that became an instant classic. Robin actually wanted to play Hagrid in the Harry Potter film series, but he was rejected by director Chris Columbus, who had a, quote, British-only policy for the actors. Several films made later in his life, like Night at the Museum and Absolutely Anything, were released after his death. Williams would appear on Broadway from time to time and even headlined his own one-man show, Robin Williams Live on Broadway. Williams married his third wife, Susan Schneider, on October 22, 2011, and they were married at the time of his death. Williams said of his children, quote, "My children give me a great sense of wonder just to see them develop into these extraordinary human beings." Robin Williams remained kind of childlike well into adulthood. He loved the world of anime and collecting figures. He also loved video games, so much in fact that one of his daughters is named Zelda after the video game. He loved cycling, and he claims that it saved him from unhealthy drug use. Robin Williams formed a special bond with Coco the gorilla, who apparently loved to watch his movies. When Coco's caretakers told her of Robin's death, they reported that she fell into sadness. He was known as a great friend, and Steven Spielberg said that when he was filming the incredibly sad Schindler's List, Robin would call him and make him laugh to cheer him up. He also secured Ethan Hawke a powerful agent after working with him. Billy Crystal reports that he and Williams used to talk on the phone for hours. So as you can see, he was just a great and genuine friend. Williams loved charity work, and he co-founded Comic Relief USA with Whoopi Goldberg and Billy Crystal, which is an organization that raises funds for those in need, particularly the homeless. Now, this organization has donated more than $50 million since the three comedians founded it, so it has done a lot of good. He performed many times for veterans and active military, traveling to over 13 countries to entertain the troops. Williams and his wife Marcia founded the Windfall Foundation that was dedicated to charity. He was also an avid supporter of St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Robin Williams spent many years of his life sober after becoming addicted to cocaine in the late 70s. But in 2003, he started drinking heavily while working on a film in Alaska. He checked himself into rehab in 2006, but sometimes relapsed and would check himself into alcohol rehab on and off throughout his life. Robin had heart surgery in 2009 and began experiencing severe depression. He had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, but never publicly revealed that. The diagnosis contributed to his depression. An autopsy after his death revealed that he also had Lewy body dementia, which also causes extreme depression. His wife revealed that Williams' doctor said his Lewy body disease was one of the worst cases they had ever seen. His wife said, quote, "Robin was losing his mind, and he was aware of it. He kept saying, 'I just want to reboot my brain.'" On August 11, 2014, at his home in California, Robin Williams ended his life. His death was attributed to asphyxia due to hanging. Neither alcohol nor drugs were found in his system outside of the therapeutic levels of the drugs prescribed for his diseases. His wife said, "Lewy body disease was a terrorist inside my husband's brain. It is responsible for his death." She said the last year of Robin's life was spent in a prolonged spike of memory loss, paranoia, anxiety, depression, and delusions. Williams' death instantly became global news. People were shocked to learn that one of the happiest, funniest men on the planet had ended his life. Friends, family, and fans alike mourned him for days, weeks, and months, and some are still mourning. President Obama released a statement saying, quote, "Robin Williams was an airman, a doctor, a genie, a nanny, a president, a professor, Peter Pan, and everything in between. He made us laugh, he made us cry. He gave his immeasurable talent freely and generously to those who needed it most, from our troops stationed abroad to the marginalized in our own streets." The tributes poured in, from Iron Maiden dedicating their song Tears of a Clown to him, to San Francisco renaming a rainbow-painted tunnel the Robin Williams Tunnel, to PBS dedicating a one-hour special to his career. Robin Williams will always be remembered for his one-of-a-kind signature comedy that will never be duplicated. From time to time, we get people that come on and comment, "This is a weird channel. I don't understand the food and the death link." And that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. But for me, it makes perfect sense. And this is a really good example of what I mean. When you think of American comics, you think of Robin Williams. He's one of the first people that comes to mind, right? Well, what do you think his favorite food was? One of the most American things in the world, pot roast. So right now we are going to taste Robin Williams' favorite pot roast recipe that he actually shared with several publications. Is there anything more American than pot roast? I know they have Sunday roast in Britain, and I'm sure they do things that are similar to this in other countries, but this is just a good old American pot roast. And we are just in the finishing stages of getting our website up and running, and there's going to be a whole section for recipes. You'll be able to go on and click on the episode, and it will give you the food from the episode. If there's a recipe available, it will give you that, whether it's one of mine or somebody else's. So that's coming very soon. And if you want to, you can go on and find Robin Williams' pot roast recipe. But right now, we're going to taste it. I like to get a really nice caramelized crust on the outside of my pot roast, but don't let that fool you, because inside it's perfect. Robin Williams' particular brand of pot roast comes with a sauteed onion gravy, and like I said, that recipe will be available for you, but we're going to taste it. I also always have to use the pan drippings, and that's normally how I make my gravy, but because this was a little bit different and I didn't use them all, you know I'm not going to throw those pan drippings away. Come on now. And then this is the little onion gravy that goes on the side. Big, nice pieces of sauteed onion in there. So good. It ain't the prettiest meal, but it's one of the best. Yeah, that's really, really, really good. And I like my vegetables still a little crunchy. Not crunchy, but toothy. Get a little bit of that potato. Yeah. Thank you for joining me today on Dining with Death, Dining with the Departed. I hope you're well. We sure appreciate you. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. It helps us so much when you subscribe. Take care of yourselves and be kind to each other. And I'll see you next time on Dining with Death. Bye.